Have you ever tried to get your whole big toe in your mouth? Check this out.
Yeah, I mean, that cannot be legal. If you've ever seen clips from the Disney Channel from like 15 odd years ago, you'd probably be thinking good times, happy vibes, and better days. But according to recent revelations, you'd be wrong. So unbelievably fucking wrong. In possibly the least surprising news, maybe ever actually, this man, it turns out, is actually a massive piece of shit. And I'll be honest, this probably should have come to light much sooner, when the motherfucker was terrorizing Woody and Buzz in Toy Story 1.
No, officer, I swear. What?
Why now though? Why have a bunch of dirty, disgusting Disney and Nickelodeon secrets from the very early 2000s seemingly resurfaced in 2024? It's a fucking tongue twister apparently is what it is. Quiet on Set is a documentary series that released a few days back and covers the topic of the very dark, unfortunately very real, horrible reality some kids experience behind the scenes and sometimes even on screen in the acting and presenting world. The series covers this whole era of children's television, mainly focusing on Nickelodeon and Disney, and brings to light just how bad things actually got, not with just Dan Schneider, but with the production as a whole. So why is it that Dan Schneider specifically is the main focus and getting absolutely slaughtered? Well, a few old videos of Ariana Grande during her Disney days resurfaced, of which Dan Schneider was heavily involved in, and that shit is beyond creepy.
Oh man, my uvula got stuck between that hamster's toes. See? That could never happen, because your uvula is that swingy thing in the back of your throat right here.
All y'all going ahead. What? You right there. Here. You. Here. You. Here.
What the fuck? From this, Dan, the fucking horrifyingly creepy and weird man, did a response interview apologising for all this and, you know, just really clearing the air. Did he do a good job of that? Oh no, he did not.
Watching over the past 2 nights was very difficult. Me facing my past behaviors, some of which are embarrassing and that I regret, and I definitely owe some people a pretty strong apology. Some of which are embarrassing and that I regret.
Pretty strong apology.
To sum it up quick and short to the point, TikTok style, he basically says a bunch of shit along the lines of he was making it all for the audience, you know, made content kids loved, and he was just doing what he thought was right. And to that, I say, what do you mean by that? There's been a lot of comments about the obsession with feet in these productions, involving teens having them out for literally no reason at all, the fact the man clearly has a weird fetish going on, and an event involving a show where they wanted kids to send them feet pictures. I'm not kidding, you sick fucks. But like, okay, benefit of the doubt and all that, maybe feet have been massively sexualized in recent times, maybe it wasn't even the case 20 odd years ago, maybe this isn't as creepy and weird as it seems initially. It is, it most definitely is. Even so, what is the defense for this then? And this?
I'm thirsty. It's not possible.
And this?
I'm soaking wet. Quick, somebody bring me the ocean.
The man himself justified all this by saying it's what kids want and it's what they find funny. But like, just fuck off, was that ever the case? That never happened. In this specific clip, most kids don't even know what is really happening here, let alone have any contextual understanding as to what that even means. A typical child around this age who watches Disney falls into one of two categories. The very young prepubescent child who falls into the category of, oh, me like violence, give me Power Rangers, I want to see death, and the second being going into puberty being like, oh, there's a pretty girl on the screen, I'm going to listen to what she has to say. A key factor that you'll know is missing from what I've just said is that neither of these fall under the how far can she stick her fingers down her throat, can she splash water on her face, and can she milk, whatever that is. And I mean, even if that was the case, there's about, I don't know, an infinite amount of other things that kids would find funnier to watch. I mean, maybe kids back then were just wildin', I mean, who knows, maybe that's why we have so many freaks about these days. The reality is, in this situation, you either wanted to see this weird shit, so it happened, or you didn't see anything wrong with it, so it happened. Either way, that's kinda fucked. Another thing I just have to mention in regards to the apology interview he did is, imagine doing an interview to address the worst of the worst allegations and accusations, and the person conducting the interview across from you is some random extra from iCarly. Like, what? Why?
Dan talked to me about the writer's room. From what I saw, not cool.
Not cool.
Like, get an executive, get a lawyer, maybe even like an actual reporter or something. No, this guy is gonna do. He's gonna do it. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Holy shit. I mean, the guy just sits there chilling the whole time. He doesn't ask any real questions like, yeah, I mean, okay. Why did you make a teenage Ariana Grande stick her fingers down her throat and make her splash water over her face? That was kind of weird. No, instead he was just like, nah, yeah, I hear you, man. I seriously hear you. That makes total sense. You know, you did it for the kids, all for their enjoyment. Sound. It all adds up. You know, you're the victim here. You're the victim. This is where, like, a Charles White would have been great. I mean, he'd have asked the hard questions.
Are you a registered sex offender?
It's just so annoying to watch things like this. It just screams, at the very least, I know this whole situation is beyond fucked, but I'm not going to help in any way at all. I'm just gonna bury my head in the sand and hope people forget my involvement. And I mean, I know of course it's supposed to be like a PR spin for him to get a W or something, but like, it's just so robotic and fake. It's like, read the script, don't question me, fake tears, fuck you. If you actually deep it all as well, he's essentially saying he saw no problem with it or was okay with it, but now people are calling it all out and saying how bad it was. He acknowledges it's terrible and very inappropriate. So he knew it was all fucked, but okayed it and did it all anyway. I mean, you can't do something terrible and then renounce it once you've already done it. Like, I mean, I'm all for people can change and shit, you know, all that, but he wouldn't have said a damn thing if he didn't get called out in the first place. So he tried to justify it and it did not work. In fact, it did the complete opposite, I'd say. Now everyone's just kind of like, oh, so he did know, so he was aware of what he was doing and is now trying to cover his tracks entirely. Maybe he is actually kind of fucked. So, apparently, as I finish editing this all together, I've realised a few things here. Firstly, everyone was in fact outraged and pissed off about Dan Schneider and this whole situation, and rightly so. For a total of about 3 whole days, after which something happened with some guy called Diddy and a massive boat smashed into a bridge and everyone has seemingly just forgot. Imagine my shock. So, I mean, I guess he actually might just be forgiven for it all now, apparently. Maybe? I think so. And secondly, this video is now probably fucking old news at this point, so like, I mean, cheers for that as well. Throw all of this in with the fact that Amanda Bynes named him specifically when talking about her horror child acting days, and yeah, the guy is a wrong un, no question. Another just abhorrent case that was talked about and linked to Dan Schneider involved Drake Bell from Drake and Josh and his acting coach. Now, I'm not going to delve too much into this topic as it is very uncomfortable, but I'm going to sum it up with this. Said coach is a massive cunt, he went to jail, served not enough time, and was then hired by Disney to work on another show involving young kids, Zack and Cody. Which is not only the dumbest, most dangerous shit I've maybe ever heard, but also like, how? What kind of caveman signed off on that? They did end up firing him after a few weeks, but how did it ever get to that point and that far to begin with? Did they know and didn't care? Did they just not know at all? I mean, I don't know which would be worse, to be honest, it's just really sinister. This prick somehow enters the equation when allegedly he knew all about this, but didn't really do anything to help. He says behind some just fucking painfully forced tears how Drake's mother came to him for help in writing her testimony, which is great, I mean, fair play, but like, if you knew it was wrong, and the acting coach was definitely a fucked individual, which he states they all did know, why not, like, actually help and get involved? It just kinda seems like he turned a blind eye to it all and just watched the victim suffer. Unfortunately, it seems like just a lot of very shady shit, really. I just hope anyone and everyone who is negatively impacted from this is doing alright, and all those creepy fuckers are taking their penance or have drastically changed. Especially this guy. Although, I'm not holding my breath on that one personally. And with that is it. The whole documentary series is called Quiet on Set, and you can watch it now. Or don't. I mean, I wouldn't if you don't want to ruin your entire week. And yeah, fuck all of them, to be honest, in a bit.
Not cool.